Gervonta Davis taking on Ricardo Nunez in his hometown. It was a homecoming fight. It aired on Showtime. By the way, a little bit of credit here, if I do say so myself. Call it a second-round KO. It's exactly what we got. Gervonta Davis looked pretty incredible. So, Brian, you're the boxing guy here. Let's answer a two-parter if we can. Start us off here. One, how did he look to you? And two, realistically, where can he go from here? It looks to me like he's got a lot of options, but I'm not sure which ones are the most realistic. Which ones
So he looked absolutely fantastic. Let's start that off. Blew away a guy you never heard of, yes. But this guy you never heard of had sort of the wild card.
He had a little swag.
Fact that he knocked out 19 of the 21 wins that he has, and he came in there trying to fight, trying to win, had some swag, had some power. What I saw was a very patient Gervonta Davis. So you're talking about a 24-year-old. We talked about that narrative coming in. Talent through the roof, had a little bit of problems staying serious, a little bit of problems outside the ring. It seemed the narrative last couple fights was Gervonta Davis' toughest opponent may be himself. But you know what? He seems to put that together personally. So what I saw inside the ring was this clinical, patient performance in a round and a half where he didn't let his hands go early. He read the defense kind of like Floyd does, not comparing them, but in that same regard, and then sort of got closer, and then when he let his hands go and finished the fight, the kid's a natural finisher. The power is so there. But this conversation, because of the opponent and the recent opponents, can't really be about how he looked, because this Saturday night was about marketing, branding,
That's right.
and a star not being born because we'd seen him before, but starting to really burst. And it's not just his promoter, Floyd Mayweather, afterwards talking about, I see it, he's a pay-per-view star. It's just the idea of coming back home to Baltimore and feeling that crowd. I mean, look, we got to pause and pour one out for the Baltimoreans. Is that what we're going to call them?
That's right.
Holy cow, did they bring it.
Purple Camo Nation.
And it's not that we hadn't seen Top Rank bring Terrence Crawford to his hometown in Omaha and see fantastic crowds, or Jose Ramirez in Fresno, and Jose Ramirez had a great win over the weekend over Mo Hooker to unify, or other, but this direction that we're going is so refreshing. How many boxing fights have you seen in person on TV in half-filled casino arenas where people are getting free tickets and they don't know what's going on? This was an engaged crowd that treated him like a star homecoming, and I felt like he took a leap through the screen, and I felt like his brand took a leap here.
Yep.
So, yes, it's true. He doesn't have that defining opponent yet. We thought it would be Abner Mares. He hasn't faced it yet. We can throw around names like the Leo Santa Cruzes or the Gary Russells. But again, those are smaller guys who would be moving up in weight. And that's sort of been the criticism of Gervonta up to this point. Hasn't faced really a top guy on his own level outside of that Pedraza fight. So what this showed me is, yes, of course, it's time to move on and face that now. But I don't hate what he's talking about. Unifying against a Tevin Farmer. Trying to unify against the other champions in the division before he moves up to 135, where we all know he's going. This was about star power, and this was about having that discussion right now.
I think,
is he what Floyd Mayweather says he is? Is he showing you that he's a pay-per-view brand?
Partly, here's the thing, partly Floyd is willing things into existence a little bit here. He's like setting the narrative in the media. Like when he says, this guy's going to be a pay-per-view star, is a pay-per-view star, I forget the exact word or wording. He's sort of like getting, again, the boxing media to be stenographers and tell you that's what this is all about, and then you begin to think of it that way. Also, if you just look at the Google search trends, he was the highest searched athlete over the weekend, over Max Holloway, over Frankie Edgar, over Chris Cyborg.
Over UFC itself.
Over UFC itself in general. So here's the thing. Yes, I work for Showtime. People are going to accuse me of what I'm about to say for shilling. But show me what I'm about to say is wrong. We just had Chris Cyborg talking about the fact that they're damaging my brand. Look at what Floyd Mayweather's TMT, and of course he has his own promotion, GDT, and then of course Showtime in conjunction working. When you get behind an A-side talent and you promote them like an A-side talent, even if people don't even know who the opponent is, I'm not sure how much they care to an extent. Of course, he has to now change that. But the point being is, look at how much Gervonta Davis has benefited from this kind of treatment. Go and look at all the shows that Showtime put together and all the interviews and all of the online treatment and all the things Floyd is doing. Everyone is setting the table for somebody to be something special. He has to go and do it against a Mares or a Terremoto or a whoever, or Gary Russell Jr. He has to go and do all those things. But you see the actual benefit. Take somebody who's got some talent, put the wind at his back instead of his face, and lo and behold, he can go back to freaking Old Bay Natty Bow territory, and he can sell out the joint. It's amazing to watch.
Well, if he's going to do in-between fights like this one was, a mandatory opponent, you got to go back to, I want that inside my veins. Whatever was going on, was going on in the air, and I did smell some of it, so I do know what was going on in the air.
Yes, Baltimore gets busy with the stickiest of the icky.
In terms of just the feeling, I mean, rub it on my gums, put it in a 12-ounce can. I need it.
In all seriousness, did you not get the feeling you were like, yo, he can come back here? Oh, he can absolutely with a title fight.
Borderline sold out that 12,000 seat arena. I mean,
they announced on the broadcast when I got home 14,000.
Oh,
14,000 plus.
I was off. So look, it's opponents ultimately that make you that, but he's going to get there, and he's not afraid to move to 135. And if you look at it where we are right now in boxing, if his long-term opponent, long-term giant pay-per-view network is like a Lomachenko, he's the right guy to build in here. And it's weird that he's got Floyd in his corner, and we sort of lazily sometimes go, well, he's the next Floyd. Well, no, he's not. He's a completely different fighter.
Yeah.
Doesn't have Floyd's charisma, just completely different.
Yeah.
But he's almost like a young Pacquiao in this sense. Who was the last small weight fighter who actually became a pay-per-view brand? Manny Pacquiao. How did he do it? Not with talking trash, not with charisma. Firepower and explosion, which Gervonta Davis has in these small weight classes. The next Floyd was Adrian Broner. Didn't have the work ethic. We know it. Gervonta seems, in this period, the last couple years, when we wanted him to fight the big names, he wanted to fight the big names.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. One thing that did happen, though, is at 24, he seems to have gotten some of that other stuff out of him.
Yeah.
He seems to be focused now, first-time father, ready. So he's got a little bit of that Manny Pacquiao vibe. If his long-term Floyd Mayweather-Manny Pacquiao opponent is Vasily Lomachenko, that ain't bad. And in the meantime, if he's going to start taking fights that truly matter, and a unification fight with Tevin Farmer would truly matter, I don't know about Floyd saying that's a pay-per-view fight, though, but still, I'm ready for this.
For all the Claudies that Pacquiao fought, he still fought the De La Hoyas and the Hattons and the Margaritas.
Barrera, Morales, I mean, everyone.
So that's really what's missing from Davis at this point. Yeah. We know he stumbled against Fonseca in terms of how he managed his weight and that whole week. He also had the weirdest trunks I'd ever seen in my life.
And he went for a knockout the whole fight. He didn't box.
It was weird. But since then, he seems to have absolutely centered himself. He managed this moment in Baltimore about as perfectly as you could ask any A-side fighter to do. And now it's a question of you got to get those names on the resume too. You got to get those big fights. So my thought is, hey, send him to New York, send him to LA, send him to Las Vegas, put him on some big cards, because eventually you can come back to Baltimore and you can do the exact same thing. And it's genuine hometown. There's nothing in the world like your community embracing you in the way you saw that. I alluded to on the broadcast. I was there at the Walter E. Convention Center in D.C. when Peterson fought Khan. Dude, it has a completely different feeling for everybody there when that kind of thing happens.
He fought 7 of his last 8 on Showtime, the other one being the Mayweather-McGregor pay-per-view. And this is a Showtime show. But throw that out there because, like you said, there are very few actual future pay-per-view fighters in the sport right now.
Right.
He's by far jumping off the screen as one of them. That matters.